Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, dear students. This is me, Umar Farooq, Sumro, subject teacher of Social Studies SST, Class 8. I hope, students, you are fine by the blessings of Almighty Allah and by the prayers of your parents and your elders. Dear students, as you are watching on your screen, this is the picture of the moon, and I welcome you all in our fourth lecture of chapter number 1. Dear students, in previous chapters we read about satellites, we read about light years, astronomers. In second and third lecture we learned about solar system. Dear students, this is your lecture number 4 of chapter 1 about the moon. As you are watching the picture on your screen, the moon is an astronomical body orbiting Earth as its only natural satellite. It is the fifth largest satellite in the solar system and by far the largest among planetary satellites relative to the size of the planet that it orbits. Dear students, the distance of moon from Earth is 384,000 kilometers. Okay, the distance of moon from Earth is 384,000 kilometers, and it is said that the age of moon is 4.53 billion years. Are you getting the point? The age of the moon is 4.53 billion years, and alternative names of the natural satellite, I mean moon, are Luna. The alternative names are Luna and Selene in poetic and Cynthia also in poetic. These two names are defined as poetic names, mostly used in poetry to define moon are Selene and Cynthia. Dear students, as I told you, the moon is our astronomical body that orbits. The moon is an astronomical body orbiting Earth as its only natural satellite. The moon is Earth's only permanent natural satellite. It is the fifth largest satellite in the solar system and the largest among planetary satellites relative to the size of the planet that it orbits. The moon is the second densest satellite among those whose densities are known anyway. The first density is Jupiter's satellite. Okay, and dear students, although compared to the night sky it appears very bright with a reflectance just slightly higher than that of warm spalt. Its gravitational influence produces the ocean tides, body tides, and the slight lightening of the day. From Earth, both the sun and the moon look about the same side. We can see the moon and the sun, but from Earth, both the sun and the moon look about same size. This is because the moon is 400 times smaller than the sun, but also 400 times closer to Earth. Dear students, this is because the moon is 400 times smaller than the sun, but also 400 times closer to Earth. Okay, and dear students, the moon makes the Earth move as well as the tides. Everyone knows that the moon is partly responsible for causing the tides of oceans and seas on Earth, with the sun also having an effect. However, as the moon orbits the Earth, it also causes a tide of rock to rise and fall in the same way it does with the water. The effect is not as dramatic as with the oceans, but nevertheless, it is a measurable effect with the solid surface of the Earth moving by several centimeters with each tide. Dear student, it is said that the moon is going away far from the Earth each year about 3.4 centimeters. Okay, and dear students, now we are heading towards book page number 5, where you can see clearly The picture that have been drawn here is the picture of the phases of the moon. Dear students, the moon rotates on its axis as it orbits the earth. It takes 29 days to complete one rotation. This is why we always see the same side of the moon. Dear students, the size of the sun starts from here. As you can see from here, new moon is almost a thin crescent. New moon is also a thin crescent. A week later, the moon will be at right angles to the earth sunlight, so that we see half of its shining. As you're watching on your screen, when after a week passed, we can see angles to the earth sunline, so that we see half of the shining. A week later, still the moon, the earth and the sun are in line again, and so that the whole moon, the earth and the sun are in line, so that the whole face of the moon is light up. We say this is a full moon, and the week and the moon is at right angles of the earth sunline, so that we see a half moon again. A week later, the moon will have waned or reduced to a crescent. In between these points, we see more and more of the moon until it is full, and then less and less until there is no moon. As you can see, students, this is a picture of phases of moon that you are watching on your screen, and the phases of the moon starts from new moon. Okay, and this is the new moon that is about in crescent. As you have seen the moon in first or second date, the moon looks like crescent. Okay, and after 1 week it is just about first quarter. Okay, it look like half, and then another quarter passed, then another week passes, then the shape of the moon is right angle to the earth, then finally it is the full moon. These phases define that how it changes its shapes in many ways. Dear students, as you are watching on your screen, these are the phases of the moon, from which moon can be seen in many other shapes. Okay, dear students, we can see some of the moon with the naked eye, means we can see the moon with our eyes, and even better with a pair of binoculars we can see mountains and seas. It is best to look at the full moon to see the formations on it. As you are watching on your screen on book page number 4, these are the formations on the moon. As you are watching on it, the full picture, as you are watching, I am zooming it so as you could see the full picture of it. Dear students, as you can see, there are many formations on the moon that you can see. Okay, dear students, another topic is eclipse. Can you see on book page number 6? Dear students, this is our next lecture about we are going to read an eclipse. What is an eclipse? An eclipse is an astronomical event that occurs when an astronomical object or spacecraft is temporarily obscured by passing into the shadow of another body, or by having another body pass between it and the viewer. This alignment of three celestial objects is known as a Saigi. Okay, students, as you are watching on your screen, this is also a type of eclipse. We have two main types of eclipse. One is called lunar eclipse and the other is called solar eclipse. This picture is of solar eclipse. As you can see, this is a picture of solar eclipse. Students, an eclipse, whether solar or lunar, happens when the sun, moon and earth align with each other. As you are watching on your screen, align means stand in same position or in a row. Okay, a solar eclipse happens when the moon is in front of sun or in a line or in the same line. As you can see or watch on your screen, the earth, moon and sun are in the same line. This is the planet, our planet earth, and this is moon. Now the moon is orbiting the earth, and it comes in front of earth and reduces the shining of the moon. A solar eclipse occurs when the moon is in front of the sun and in a line, means are in the same row. A solar eclipse like the one on August 21, 2017 is when the sun's light will be blocked by the moon. A lunar eclipse is when the moon passes behind the earth into its shadows. Okay, when the moon passes behind the earth, that will be called lunar eclipse. But when moon is in front of earth and in between earth and sun, it will call solar eclipse. Now I am showing you the picture of a lunar eclipse when the moon sunlight will be blocked by the moon. A lunar eclipse is when the moon passes behind the earth into its shadows. Now you are watching on your screen. Eclipse occur when astronomical bodies are in the same row. So it is also an astronomical body or our natural satellite. Now they are in the same row. Dear students, this is called lunar eclipse when the moon passes behind the earth into its shadows. Okay, dear students, solar eclipses, either total or partial, happen twice every year. In very rare occasions, there can be 5 solar eclipses in a year. The last time this happened was in 1935, and the next time it will happen in 2006. Okay, there are two types of eclipses, lunar and solar. Total solar eclipses happen when the sun is completely blocked by the moon. Total solar eclipses are only visible from a specific part of the earth. The moon is considerably smaller, and its shadow will only pass through a narrow path on earth's surface. Areas around that path will only see a partial solar eclipse. As you have seen some days ago, there was an eclipse. What will we call it? When the moon was, or an astronomical body was in between the sun and the earth, what it would be called? Solar eclipse or lunar eclipse? As I told you, when the moon comes between sun and earth, it will be called solar eclipse. And some days ago, it was a solar eclipse when the moon covers all the sun. Okay, it was called solar eclipse because the moon was between this earth and the sun. Dear students, now our today's lecture ends here, and also our chapter is now completed. You have to watch out this picture carefully and draw it on your notebook and send the homework on your WhatsApp group. Dear students, today's lecture ends here. We will meet in our second lecture with all new things and new chapters. Still, Allah Hafiz.